Hi, doc students. This is Dr. Anna Macedonia, and I am really excited to be able to review this APA dissertation template with all of you. So really the purpose of this template is to provide you access to basically the skeleton that you are going to use to house all of your chapters to create one cohesive document within your DIP. So this template will help you do a few things, such as formatting the pages of your DIP, to place page numbers appropriately and establish proper margins in your document, use predefined styles for headings, subheadings, captions, tables, figures, etc. So I definitely am going to just walk you through some of these elements that are going to be important for you as you utilize this document for your DIP. So you see that this first page is your title page, and it does include information about spacing. Obviously, this information would go away. For the purpose of your DIP proposal, you would not need to do anything with this title page as well as this page. So again, when you successfully defend your DIP, that's when this information will be completed. However, for the sake of the DIP proposal, you would definitely be really mindful of completing chapter 1, which is the introduction of the study. And you see that this is a table of contents for your DIP. And you see that there are headings that are already completed for you here. You are able to change this in terms of adding your own headings that make sense to you. But again, this is just a skeleton in order to really just help offer the just basic information that you would be responsible for. So again, chapters 1, 2, and 3 are all part of your proposal within the ED 715 course. So those chapters would all need to be included. So you could definitely fill in this table of contents to reflect your headings and potentially your subheadings, knowing that obviously after you conduct your study and you complete chapters 4 and 5, that it may end up changing your table of contents a little bit. But obviously for 715, you would not need to worry about chapters 4 and 5. You may have items for your appendix that you might be able to include. So for example, if you already have the structured interview protocol that you would be using, for example, you could definitely include that in your appendix. But other types of things that you would have, like transcripts, you wouldn't have that for your proposal. So you also see that following the table of contents, you see the list of tables. So again, this may definitely change throughout the course of your study, especially as you enter more information related to chapters 4 and 5. But chapters 1 through 3, you may have tables that are embedded. So you may be able to incorporate those within this list of tables. Please note as well that this is included underneath this table. So you would obviously remove this when you turn in your DIP proposal and your actual final document. This is just a model with how to correctly format a table within your DIP. So this is exactly, you could utilize this, copy paste it within your document to ensure that you have the correct formatting. Also, this DIP template follows APA 7, so you would definitely want to reference your APA 7 manual, as well as other resources like Purdue OWL to also assist you as well with any kind of formatting needs that you have. Following the list of tables, you have your list of figures. Very similar to the list of tables, you might have figures that are already established in your chapters 1 through 3 within your proposal course. And again, you would list those and put the appropriate page numbers they're on. And this is an example of how you would appropriately cite figures using APA 7. And just like I mentioned, this obviously would go away when your document is finalized. So then it goes into the actual chapters of your study, or I should say your DIP proposal or your DIP manuscript. So first it starts with chapter 1, and you see that it goes directly into this nice level 1 heading, which is chapter 1, Introduction to the Study. And you see that there are already all of your level 2 headings that are already listed here for you. Again, as I mentioned, you may choose to change the titles of these headings or add subheadings. That's completely fine. But I will say that if you do change your headings or include subheadings, that it needs to be adequately reflected in your table of contents. So for example, if you have a subheading underneath introduction, then it should be adequately cited. So I can definitely go ahead and show you an example. So within, this is my dissertation table of contents. So I will go ahead and just show you an example. So under my definition of terms within my chapter 1, I included the subheadings for all of my definition of terms here, as well as included the appropriate page number. So that is just something to keep in mind. So your table of contents within this document, again, is bare bones. So you definitely will have to format it appropriately to match what you actually choose to do within your DIP. So your headings, all of your headings and subheadings need to match your document to the actual table of contents. So going back to your chapter 1. So for things like insert project timeline here, you could choose to actually create like a table or figure that demonstrates that. That's completely fine. But again, this heading, for example, is not included in the table of contents. So if you do choose to add that in, definitely reflect that in your table of contents. So following chapter 1 is your chapter 2, which is the literature review. So in ED 703, you created a really amazing first draft that you have revised within ED 715. So your headings from that you may have revised in 715 may end up looking a little bit different than these headings. And again, you are able to change the headings to what makes sense in terms of your study. You also see that there are level 2 and level 3 headings that are included within this, this template. Again, you can revise as necessary, but this should be the information that's included within chapter 2. And the last chapter that you're going to have to complete for your DIP proposal is your chapter 3 methodology. This is actually called methodology design for action. So you would definitely change that title to match what you have. Again, there are the appropriate headings and subheadings that we have for you in the DIP template. And again, you can change these depending on your particular study. And also this may look different depending on the research paradigm and research method and design that you're using for your study. So then I just want to highlight that following chapter 3, chapter 4 and chapter 5 will obviously be added after your study is conducted and after you have gone through your rigorous data analysis. So chapter 4 is where you are reporting your data analysis and results. And you see that there are tables that are here for you to utilize at your convenience, as well as qualitative tables that you can use for reporting results and analysis, for example. So then the last chapter of your DIPE is chapter 5, summary, conclusions, and recommendations. And then your references. So as you have been building your DIP proposal, you do have a reference list throughout chapters 1 through 3. So I would definitely recommend that you transfer those references that you have for those 3 chapters into this template for your proposal. And again, it may grow if you revise as you've gone through data analysis and your results. You may say, hey, I need to go back in the literature and look at this. You can always go back and add more literature into your references. And then following your reference page, you have the appendix. So again, this follows APA 7. So because there's more than one appendix, they're labeled Appendix A, Appendix B, etc. So these are guidelines for you to follow in terms of what to add for your appendix or appendices. You might have other things that you're going to add, and that is completely fine, as long as you include the appropriate formatting and that for anything that you're adding. I do want to keep in mind as well to show you there are scoring rubrics that you want to look at. So for 715, we're going to be able to provide you some feedback in terms of your chapters. So I just want to let you know that in the class, your instructors may talk about utilizing these rubrics to help kind of guide you in terms of providing you feedback. So definitely be mindful about how these rubrics are going to be served to provide you feedback and to strengthen your chapters to prepare you for your DIP proposal defense. So I hope that this was helpful, and I look forward to hearing about all of the really rigorous research that you're conducting. Thanks so much.